Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You are watching us on PM Vidya, channel number 4 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. This session is meant for the students of class 4 and the subject that we are taking up is English. We are going to learn about chapter number 5 of your textbook titled The Old Stag, Part 1. And in case you have questions related to the topic, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is tth.class4@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle NCERT Official, you can respond to our queries, your suggestions, you can also send there. Apart from that, you can also let us know what new you want to learn so that we can include the same in our sessions. So for this session, we are joined by our two experts and let me introduce you all to them. We are joined by Miss Swati Verma. Ma'am is TGT English from Sarvodaya Vidyalaya, Sector 7, Rohini, New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to you.
Namaskar, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We both are accompanied by our Indian Sign Language interpreter, Ms. Sonal. Namaskar, Sonal. A very warm welcome to you too. Now, ma'am, one important question. The Old Stag, Part 1. Now, what exactly this all about? Is it a poem or a story or fiction? What have you brought for us today?
Yes, so Harpreet ma'am, it's a story. I have brought a beautiful story for all the students today and we are going to enjoy the story. But before I proceed with the story, I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, so students also can answer in the comment section and also I want to know from you.
Okay.
Have you ever helped a friend who was in need or who was sick?
Yes, when I was a kid, I was in school and one of my friends was absent because she was not well. And when she came back school the other day, I gave her my notebooks to complete the assignments. I helped her out.
Wow, that's such a nice gesture from you and you have displayed your kindness here. Yeah. And this story is also about kindness, friendship and learning from our mistakes.
Okay.
Now, what mistakes we are talking about, we will find out in the story about those mistakes and the realization. So, let's proceed with the story.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to it.
In a lush forest lived an old stag who was known for his kindness. Each day he warmly greeted his fellow animals and birds. Though the forest offered plenty of food, the stag preferred staying on a small hillock with tender grass. The hillock was covered in soft green grass, which the old stag enjoyed. Every day he would come down to meet his friends and all the animals and birds loved him. You can see in the picture and I also have a picture of the old stag. In a lush forest, lush means green, dense, full of trees. So, that forest lived an old stag. That's a male deer. You can also see in the picture the old stag. Right. So, he was known for his kindness. As Harpreet ma'am shared her story of kindness. So, he was also very kind, helpful towards all. Every day he warmly greeted his fellow animals and birds. You also greet your friends when you go to school? Yes.
Yeah.
Similarly, he also greeted all the fellow animals and birds. Though the forest offered plenty of food, the stag preferred staying on a small hillock with tender grass. We also have so many options, but sometimes our preference is for some particular thing.
Right.
So, this deer was also very particular about the small hillock.
But what about this tender grass?
Yes, so the grass there was very tender, means very soft, very fresh.
Okay.
So, the old stag preferred that tender grass and that was the purpose of staying on a small hillock. The hillock was covered in soft green grass which the old stag enjoyed. There will be certain meals that you enjoy all the time. Similarly, he enjoyed this tender soft grass. Every day he would come down to meet his friends and all the animals and birds loved him. So, he came as you also come to meet your friends after school or in the school time. Similarly, he was also regularly in touch with all the friends and all the animals and birds loved him. Now here is a question. Why do you think all the animals and birds loved him?
Because of his kind nature, and also he was very warm and friendly to everybody, as you mentioned in the story itself, that he used to come down every day to greet his friends. So I think when somebody greets us nicely and with love, we really appreciate that person.
Yes, we do appreciate the kindness and all these
The
good
warmth.
things, the warmth he displayed to his friends. So this was the reason that all the animals and birds loved him.
Right.
So let's proceed with the story. One day, the stag fell ill. He struggled to reach the hillock. The stag knew that fresh, healthy food and proper rest would help him to get well soon. So, he ate the tender grass and decided to rest for a while. The old stag could not go down the hillock to greet his friends. His friends were worried. When they learned that the stag was unwell, they came to check on him. So here you can see in the picture, the old stag is ill. We also get ill sometimes,
Yes.
we feel sick and all. So he struggled to reach the hillock. The stag knew that fresh, healthy, proper food and proper rest would help him get well soon. As when we are sick, we are also advised to take good meals, healthy meals, fresh fruits and fresh food, and also take proper rest. Similarly, this was the treatment for the stag as well. So he decided to just eat tender grass and take proper rest for a while. So that's why he could not go to meet his friends. His friends were worried. As we all know, they loved him. So when you love your friend, you are actually, curious to know why that person is not coming to school. Similarly, his friends were also worried. And when they learned that the stag was unwell, they came to check on him. Do you check on your friends when they are not going to school?
Absolutely, we do. So when my friends do not call me for a good number of days, or when I'm not seeing them that often, of course I get worried about them, and I call them up or I visit them.
Yes, a similar situation was with the old stag. His friends were also worried because they had no clue where he was. So let's move forward with the story. Dear stag, how are you? Asked a deer. Too weak to come down and meet you all, replied the stag. Get well soon, dear stag, said the deer. The animals wished him a speedy recovery and left. However, before they went back into the forest, the animals ate the fresh green grass growing on the hillock. So, there was a deer who came and he asked, how are you? Dear stag, how are you? So, the stag replied, too weak to come down and meet you all. Get well soon, dear stag. You also wish get well soon, get a speedy recovery to your friends. Similarly, he was also wished by his friends that get well soon, and all the animals wished him a speedy recovery and left. But as they went back into the forest, the animals ate fresh green grass. Remember the tender grass which was there? Yes. So, all the animals ate that fresh grass growing on the hillock. Now, let's see what happens. The green grass is so tender and nice, said an elephant. I have never eaten such juicy green leaves, said a giraffe. Word soon spread about the tender green grass. Soon all the animals who came to visit the stag feasted on the tender grass. Anyone who came to visit the stag would also eat the grass. Now that tender grass was all over in the forest. So it was the main information about all the animals. So here we can see the green grass. So you can see, suppose this is that lush forest and it was like the hillock which was filled with the green grass. So all
and
the
it's very
animals,
tender.
Yes, it is tender, it is soft, it is fresh. So all the animals just wanted to have a bite of the green grass. Yes. So first animal,
Elephant came.
Elephant. So elephant came and had its share. So what did he say? the grass is so tender and nice. So, we can see that when the elephant came, he ate some of the grass. And just
went away.
Yes. Then there is
giraffe.
Giraffe. You can see, I have never eaten such juicy green leaves. So, whenever you get something very nice, you tend to eat more than usual also. Yeah. So, this happens with us as well. So, the same happened with the animals. So, the giraffe also had his share and just went. So, you can see the grass, and word soon spread about the tender green grass. Soon all the animals who came to visit the stag feasted on the tender grass. Anyone who came to visit the stag would also eat the grass. Now, I have a question. Do you think this was thoughtful of the animals, or they were being selfish?
I think they didn't give much thought to it. They were just hungry and feasted on the green, tender, juicy grass. That's all.
Okay, and what do you think, students?
Well, yes, please comment in the chat box.
So, let us see. Soon there was not much grass left for the old stag to eat. He started becoming weaker as days passed. His friends felt ashamed. They realized how their greed had made them forget about their friend, the old stag. They understood that not much grass was left for the stag to eat and recover. The animals decided to find food elsewhere in the forest and not disturb the hillock. Some of them also brought fresh leaves for their friends. So, as you can see, not much grass is left. Here you can see, because the elephant and giraffe and all the animals have eaten the tender grass. So, there was not much grass left, and when he was not having the fresh grass, the fresh food, then he became weaker as the days passed. So, realizing this, his friends were now feeling ashamed, and they realized their mistake. Remember the story, the learning from our mistakes. So, this was the mistake. The animal realized that they had just forgotten about their friend, that is the old stag. So, now as not much grass was left, so they decided that they will find food somewhere else in the forest and leave the tender grass at the hillock for the old stag only.
And I think the best part is in the story that they not only realized their mistake, but they also brought fresh leaves for the stag, because they knew that they had to compensate for what they have done.
Yes, and as Harpreet ma'am, you said that it was not thoughtful, they were just enjoying the grass and they were just having it. So, they were not deliberately doing that thing. So, now once they realized their mistake, they tried to compensate it with the fresh leaves. So, this happened with all the animals as well. So, they brought the fresh leaves for their friend.
And I think, ma'am, that's the best part of apologizing, that it's not just enough to say sorry. If you have done somebody wrong, you make sure that you compensate the person. You know, you do some act of kindness, or you do perform certain action or gesture that would help that person practically.
Yes, help that person practically. So, here, because it was his preference, it was the stag's decision to live on the hillocks just because of that tender grass. And when he needed that grass for most of his health, because he was ill and he was much more in need of that grass, at that time all the animals who just came there to wish him, to ask him how is it feeling, so they just
feasted on that
grass and that made him weaker.
Yeah.
So, now let us see what happens next. It rained well that week. The grass soon grew back and the old stag had enough food once again. Slowly the old stag recovered from the illness. The animals learned the most important lesson. Nature has enough for everybody, but we need to use its resources wisely.
Yeah.
Adapted from the Panchatantra. So, when they were bringing the fresh leaves also, and they also stopped eating the grass, it rained well that week and that helped the grass grew back faster, So, old stag had enough food once again. Slowly the old stag recovered from the illness. Why? Because he was having enough food, which was grass.
Yeah, proper healthy meal in the form of grass.
Yes.
In fact, Mahatma Gandhi also mentioned once that nature has enough for everybody's need, but not for man's greed or anybody's greed for that matter.
Yes.
So yes, we must use our resources wisely. Secondly, ma'am, this story has been adapted from the Panchatantra, and I think Panchatantra has a lot of characters, animal characters
Yes.
only, right? So what's the beauty of Panchatantra stories and what our children can learn from such stories?
As you have never felt that you are learning something new. You are just, hearing the stories about the animals and birds, and there is a beautiful lesson in that story. So this is the beauty, that you are told the deepest, concepts and the lessons through the story from animals and birds and how they live, and you can see, you can relate that similar attitude is yours as well in this situation when our friend is not well, how we keep them, praying for them and do such things for bringing something and helping something. So this story of kindness, the story, the lessons, we relate to this, and this is the beauty of Panchatantra stories.
Right. And
Yes.
also we see that in reality animals do help each other. They have their own little world, their own little language. They do understand emotions.
Yes.
Like we see dogs, how they love so unconditionally. Now ma'am, this story is for class 4 students. What is the learning outcome? What they should be learning from the story?
So for this, thank you Harpreet ma'am, I just repeated once again the most important lesson. Nature has enough for everybody, but we need to use its resources wisely. So this is the learning. You have learned about kindness, you have learned
Compassion.
about the compassion, you have learned about realizing your mistake. It is not that, so what if I have eaten? Maybe if this was the attitude, if we just turn the story this way, that they didn't realize their mistake and they went on eating, so what would happen? We would have a completely different ending from this point. So but they realize their mistakes. We all can commit mistakes, but the thing is to realize and correct it as soon as possible, not to wait for some outcome and then only, or some other person to the stag never mentioned that, oh, you are eating my grass. He could say this thing, but he was kind, he was helpful, he never said this thing, but they realized it themselves. So nature has enough for everybody, but we need to use its resources wisely. And how can we use these resources wisely? Should we not use it at all, or what should we do?
I think we should take as much as we require, and we should not hoard the things. Like you say, if we need only one or two pencils, let's keep only 2 pencils in the pencil box and let's not have the entire bunch with us. Also similarly, if you're feeling hungry, we should eat as much as our body requires, and we must not waste food, because wastage is something that's very bad, and we are probably snatching away the rights of people who really need it badly.
Yes, we are, because the resources are not
They're
just
limited.
for us, they
Yeah.
are limited, and they are for all of us to use. So we should plan it this way so that others could also make use of it.
That's right.
And when we are using water, we should use it wisely.
Wisely, yeah.
You should plant more trees. You can contribute, as you can see in the story. All the animals, they contributed, they bought fresh leaves for the old stag. So similarly, whatever in our capacity we can do. It's not that we have to go beyond our limit, we have to do something very much crossing our limits or something. Whatever we are capable of doing, we can do. And these small gestures, coming back to your reply, Harpreet ma'am, when you helped your friend with your notebook, so this was a small gesture, but I'm sure your friend would have remembered it for days.
I'm sure.
And we also do certain things which are not that expensive or something for us, nominal things, but they matter a lot.
It's the little actions and little gestures that make all the big difference. So please make sure that you help people and you help them genuinely without expecting anything in return. You will also get the help when required. Now ma'am, we are left with last few minutes, and there's so many new words that I have come across in the story. So can we have the new words, please?
Yes, surely ma'am. So the new words, I have already explained the meaning of these words while I was explaining the story. So once again we go through these new words. Lush, the lush forest, you remember the lush forest with the green and dense trees.
Yes.
Stag, the male deer. Hillock, the small hill which was there. You remember the hillock. You also try to use these words in the sentences.
That's going to be your assignment.
Yes, that's going to be your assignment, and I have one more assignment for you as well.
Yeah.
So, recovery, we see how he recovered. Sheltering is the providing the shelter, yes, and tender, the soft grass. You remember
that
the
you
tender
have got
grass
for us also.
Yes, so we have helped you a lot to make your sentences. So make sure you use all these words, and if possible, just try to form your own story using all these words.
Yes, so frame the sentences or form a new story and email the same to us on dth.class4@cit.nic.in. And one more assignment is pending for you. Let's see what it is.
So that assignment, you can see this beautiful old stag which I have prepared. So you also have to prepare similarly. You can do the changes accordingly. First, you draw a mind map using all these words, use your own story and create your own stag's world, where you want to place it, on the hillock or in the forest or in some other area. So you just make your own story and try to place it there and draw and color it, and also mail it to us. We will see.
Yeah, and by the way, where your old stag is has been placed, where is it standing?
It is actually in my garden only.
Okay.
That's why I didn't want it to be in some forest, so that I can see regularly. So that's why I'll just place in the garden.
Lovely.
With this grass and a small plant there.
It's a beautiful drawing, yeah.
Yes. Thank
and
you so much.
I'm sure you're enjoying, seeing your stag every day in your garden. So, because we do not have enough time left, we have to wrap up the session over here, but not before thanking both my guests for the session. So, Swati ma'am, thank you so much for your time and contribution to the session.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Sonal, for explaining this entire journey in Indian Sign Language. And we have concluded part 1 of the chapter number 5 from your textbook, The Old Stag, and in part 2 we will bring you some exercises, so please stay tuned. And now, before I finally leave the studio, let me tell you quickly about the textbooks. They are available for grade 4 and grade 7 on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. So please go and buy your copies from there, and simultaneously you can take a quick look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead. So we are through with our session of English, and in a short while from now you can watch another session of ours. And since it's going to be day 1 of our online training program, this week we are conducting a training program on media literacy. From 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. we will bring you our program on psychosocial support, and it's called Sahyog, where the topic is going to be creative learning using art and music to conceptual understanding. So for this session, please stay tuned, and I'm sure that you would like to understand how art and music play a very important role in understanding the different concepts. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you, and will join you soon. Namaskar.